have 2 or 3 border security people that are brave and great. And don't forget, we don't let them, and we can't let them use weapons. We can't. Other countries do. We can't. I would never do that. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the Panhandle you can get away with that statement. Only in the Panhandle.
Oh yeah, of course some guy in the crowd said shoot them. And he's like, only in the Panhandle can you talk about murdering innocent people. And they're like, yes, yes, in the Panhandle we murder innocent people. We're proud Republicans.
Well, it seemed like there were some people in the crowd that maybe disapproved of what was going on. And so we have a little bit of a close-up. I want to quickly watch that.
You can't, there's no... That's only in the Panhandle you can get away with that statement.
Yeah, seems like you have a conscience. Get out of that room immediately.
Right? I think they made a movie for you called Get Out. Okay, so look, I like that there was somebody in the crowd with a tiny bit of conscience, like, oh, we're gonna start murdering the immigrants? But the rest are like, yeah, yoo-hoo.
So he was specifically talking about migrants who have legal protections in the United States, because look, if you are seeking asylum, as we've talked about before, we do have a legal process for that, and Trump hates that process, hates it. He hates the fact that they get their day before a judge and they get to make their case. He doesn't want to deal with it. And so again, he's making his case against these legal processes. And I just want to know that this is in Florida, where there's a giant population of Cubans and Cuban Americans whose family members or even they themselves came into the United States and were given amnesty. They were given amnesty because they were fleeing, a communist regime under Fidel Castro. So I find it so interesting because there are so many different groups of people in the country, whether it's the rich who got to take advantage of all these public programs that lifted them from poverty, or Cubans who took advantage of amnesty to flee a situation in their country that was, not to their liking. And then they closed the door right behind them, right? Yeah, let's support the president who thinks it's funny when someone at a rally says to shoot migrants as they try to come into the country. Let's support that guy. See, congratulations.
On the other hand, we are not at all hypocritical. I understand why Cubans were fleeing. They were worried about their life and liberty, but so are the people in Central America. So, oh yeah, but our life and liberty was endangered by a guy that the United States doesn't like. Whereas their lives and liberty is endangered by people, generally speaking, that the United States does like. So who cares?
Okay, so let me. So the Trump administration doesn't like Maduro in Venezuela, and they want regime change. They're pushing for regime change in Venezuela. So quick question. If there's a complete crisis in Venezuela as a result of America pushing for regime change and pursuing military action, are we going to accept Venezuelans into the country as refugees? Remember, the right wing is arguing that it's because Maduro is a socialist and that's the reason why people want to leave, right? Of course, they don't care.
Yeah, no, let's do it right now. Amnesty for anyone leaving Venezuela. You guys agree? I mean, it's the same situation as Cuba, right? You guys are saying they're both communist, socialist, terrible, created a horrible situation in their country. So a couple of million people arguably have left Venezuela. Should we bring them in? All of a sudden, the guys in the Panhandle are like, wait. Hey, what happened? I thought you wanted a regime change. I thought you wanted amnesty for people fleeing socialism and communism. Oh, all of a sudden, when they're now this new wave of brown people, I didn't. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
And remember, we had this great story by Ken Klippenstein at TYT Investigates. We covered it earlier this week. And if you think people aren't really considering shooting migrants at the border, just consider the fact that there's that militia, the United Constitutional Patriots, and one of their members was reported to the police. His name is Armando Gonzalez, because he was quoted as saying, "Why are we just apprehending them and not lining them up and shooting them?" He was also quoted as saying, "We have to go back to Hitler days and put them all in a gas chamber."
So we broke that story a couple of days ago. And now somebody at a rally says, yeah, shoot him. And then the president jokes around about it. And then you wonder why people get encouraged. And this guy in Ken's story, you can read it on tyt.com, grabbed an AR-15 and told others to grab their guns when they spotted people crossing the border, or what he thought were people crossing the border. And he said, let's go, why don't we go shoot them? Now, to be fair to the other guys, and you can see it in Ken's story, they're like, no, let's not shoot them. And one of them actually had a conscience, like that woman in the rally, and went to the police and said, you gotta watch out for this guy. He's talking about gas chambers and indiscriminately shooting people. So I appreciate that he did that. That group was so embarrassed by this story, among others, but really predominantly this story. Right after the story came out, when they were asked about it, they changed their name. They changed the whole name of the group.
What?
Yes.
So what are they now?
I think they're the Guardian Patriots now.
Yeah, you gotta have the Patriots in there, right?
Yeah, of course. So, but Ken Klippenstein, wonderful job. But also, if you're a Young Turks viewer who contributed to our investigative reporting team, that was you guys. Wonderful reporting to see how dangerous these militias actually are. He got it. These are government documents that he got through a Freedom of Information request. So, and it's not just like some random dude in the middle of the desert with his crazy ideas. There's a crazy guy on the radio saying similar things. They are driving people to a very dangerous situation. So I want to go to video 8. That's Glenn Beck, and he's going to say something that is arguably even more dangerous than what Trump did in laughing at that so-called joke. Here, let's watch.
We are headed towards a time when you will see massive rushes. I think I've been saying this since I was in Israel. Massive rushes across our southern border. It will get to the point where people will be killing farmers for food, and then it will turn into killing farmers for the land, and they'll say, this is my land. You stole it from us centuries ago.
So, and he went on to talk about how the police in those border towns, their lives are gonna be in danger. He's egging people on, saying they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill the farmers, they're gonna kill you for food, and then they're gonna take your land. And all of this with a very clear, implicit, aren't you gonna do anything about it?
Well, I wanna know how many Border Patrol agents have died as a result of migrants during the Trump administration, and how many migrants have died in Border Patrol custody under the Trump administration. Because I know that there have been at least 2 minors and 1 adult who have died in Border Patrol custody. So you wanna talk about people dying, let's talk about the numbers, the actual numbers.
So, of course, there have been no Border Patrol agents who have died, and there have been no farmers who have been killed for food or their land. So, but what it does is it creates an environment where people go to a presidential rally and say, let's shoot them. And when they go and join a militia and talk about bringing back the Hitler days. And Glenn Beck eggs that on, and Donald Trump eggs that on. Look, they're playing with fire, man. I'm now deeply worried that one of these guys is gonna fly off the handle or the panhandle. But kidding aside, it's a serious situation, and they're gonna start. When we have the deaths, people are gonna say, "Oh my God, no one could have seen this coming." No, we can see it coming now, because the more you egg on unstable people, somebody's gonna go shoot someone or a lot of people, and then they'll turn around and go, "There's nothing we could do." Nobody could have seen it coming. Plus, you can't touch the guns. You can't touch anybody who egged them on. You can't do anything about anything at all. And we're gonna keep on doing this. On the go, don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.